Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So in part one, I think some of you may have thought that I was referring to, you may have thought that I was referring to actually being a very beneficial friend to them, and I wasn't, and I cleared that up in part two. And in part two, I stated that what I was talking about was how the second step is going to be that you must learn to not prefer sisters, but you must learn to not prefer specifically Western sisters. I'm not asking you to have a racial dispreference for your own kind when that's not biologically even realistic, but that as you train yourself and re-imprint yourself, because men can do that, that you are careful to do it on the basis of culture and not on the basis of phenotype. Well, there's more. Here in part three, I'm going to start by stating one of the double standards. Erykah Badu is proof of our double standards, and not the ones that the misandrous feminists mean when they say double standards. She's proof of double standards that work in their favor and against us, and we men have accepted it. Erykah Badu is just effing weird. She can sing. I'm not knocking her skill, but she's just effing weird. And she got all these kids by these different men. We made it too easy, and that's the problem. Now, some would say, yeah, but you know, man, biology, and you need to grow up and get real. Come on, black. Well, I'm coming on. I'm growing up and I'm getting real. I've been growing up and getting real. Men can say no. Even if it's easier for women, it ain't easier for the right reasons for women. Men can say no. She's effing weird. Why did three high-value men, according to women's own standards and what they understand, even if it differs from what Kevin meant, lay down with her and pumming a cussy because we're too damn easy? Now, maybe you can say this about other men in general, but I live in a place where a lot of men will turn down fornication. That's not only in the system, but it's also in the way they've been raised to think. So, I live where men can and do turn down them draws. Yeah, a lot of times women ain't chasing these men down either, but these men do. So I wanted y'all to know that men can say no to the draws and do say no to the draws. It happens. I also wanted you all to understand that one of the reasons that she gets to have these kids that are going to look after her in her old age, we think, is because we're too easy. See, even if you are going to be easy, there's better than her out there. In terms of being with someone. Okay, now, are you going to find someone that can sing you to sleep tonight better than she can? Probably not. Not that they don't exist, but how likely are you to find them? Even still, let's call it what it is. They're still better than her out there. And she ain't going to sleep. She ain't going to sing you to sleep every night. She going to say, I just got through recording in the studio all these hours. How about you fit the guck up out my face with that shore bed? Sing yourself to sleep. I ain't your mama. And she even made this hit song, Tyrone, freestyling because she and her aunts were just bad-mouthing men, and it was fun. She probably don't even hate men like that, but when she made the song, the sisters were like, hey, and they made that a hit, just like they did for Beyonce. Look, what I'm saying about part three is that when it comes to part three, that is in realizing that the entire effing culture is trash. Black culture is fine. N19 culture is inferior. It is as inferior as I have spent the last 9 years telling the Bedouins theirs is. It is as inferior as I spent 9 years before that, actually, telling Pakistanis and Arabs in general how inferior theirs was and is. So too is ours. Well, not mine, not most of yours in the audience. But the community's culture is not black culture, it's N19 culture. And Chris Rock said something. Y'all remember what he said back in 99? When I'm at the ATM, I ain't looking for the media, I'm looking for N19s. In so many words, guess what? Chris Rock, when he said this, he missed an important point, but his point was valid, but there was something that now we have to bring up. And I don't blame him for not bringing it up. Back then, I was a young guy. We had grown up seeing Tarzan movies as small children, not as teens. Those older than us grew up seeing Tarzan movies regularly on TV. So I want you to understand that we had this propaganda in our heads. Those of us that believed the propaganda were the N19s, because the propaganda told us we N19. So if you believe it, you believe you in N19. You're going to act like one, you're going to become an N19. That's what happened. These young cats that walk around now, boys and girls, acting the same way, had to get it from somewhere, and we know that we're not allowed to live with the kids. We can raise them, but are we allowed to actually live with them for the most part? No. So who's teaching this to them? The Tarzan movies ain't coming out like they used to. Last one were the Tarzan cartoons from Disney, where they didn't show not one Negro. And no, the gorillas don't count. And so where does this come from? Well, those who believed it passed it on. Yes, women pass it on. Men participate. Women pass it on. And we've seen that sisters have refused to pass on that which is positive. You gonna eat what I put on this plate, and then they insist on cooking pork. Just because it's not good for them. Just because Shahrazad Ali said we got healthy options to feed. The culture's messed up. And it's the sisters that kept it going like that. That enforced it and kept it that way. Brothers participated in a form of simps and gynocrat goons and matriarchal mandingos. They're doing it even now. But the culture's jacked the up. And at this point, the Filipina P is superior to most sisters in the West. Joan J is superior to most sisters in the West. And Helga Babushka is an example of why you should not stay in the West, and you shouldn't deal with women that want to stay in the West. If they really mean well, they will leave. Helga Babushka flipped. She had to. She lives in Canada. I still ain't letting her off the hook for it, though. She could have fucked the shuck up. She didn't. But Joan J and Filipina P, and there's a third one whose name I forgot, are superior to the regular, normal, run-of-the-mill Western sister. Because they made better choices. That's all. Filipina P lived in the West and moved back. You can't convince sisters who are on the head wrap Afrocentrism stuff to consider moving to a patriarchal island, let alone to the continent. Except maybe Lagos or Joburg or Cape Town. Maybe Nairobi, where the feminism's pretty heavy. Other than that, no. You see where I'm going with this? So what I wanted you to understand is how inferior it is. And I'm not going to sit up here and pull any punches, and I'm not letting anybody off the hook with this mess. No, it's inferior. And that realizing that is the third step, and it is necessary. You must realize that to complete the third step. Black culture's fine, but in order for the positive aspects of what makes up black culture to be preserved, you need SYSBM, Passport Bros, Passport Gang, IBMOR, all the BMPTs you need in order to preserve that which is worth preserving. Now, sisters will say, well, what about the phenotype? That would be a valid argument, except we're not against it. They are. They're the ones that are having other races of men's babies. That's how it is that other races of men categorically can have more children than their women have children. It wasn't about how many per each. It was about how many how many total. How does a man have kids without a woman? So how do these men have more children than their women? That means that they had to have children with other women. Who are these other women? It was sisters. And we're just not finding this out. Think about how it's even possible. How is it possible? There has to be a group of women that are having outside men's children, and that was sisters. This whole mother cuss word time. Oh, his daddy just light-skinned. Of course he was light-skinned. He wasn't black. If his sister ain't black, then how was he black? That's what the mother cuss word problem is with this stuff. The culture that they have maintained is hypocritical. Hell, it's hypocrisy itself. How do we forgive something like that? Newsflash, you don't. And that's the other thing you got to realize in step 3. When you forgive them individually for what's done against you, it's your right. It's also your right to not forgive. Don't let them tell you you have to forgive. We ain't Jesus, and Jesus didn't have to forgive. Alayhi salam. You got to understand that it ain't any one of our rights to forgive what they've done to us collectively. The miseducation. And it is the understanding. And I think this is what BJS was getting at. Step 3 is when you realize that all of their points are invalid because the whole cultural frame of reference and the whole way of thinking is invalid and wrong. That's part 3. That's very necessary. When you realize everything they say is wrong. Once they limit you in any way, shape, or form, they butts are wrong. You can't be with her. Okay, see, you wrong. Because even if she said the right thing, even if there's a valid reason to not be with a particular woman, is Boom Shika telling you that for the right reasons, or is she telling you that for her own selfish reasons? That's part of it. Realizing that everything they say is wrong. They ain't got no ammo. Because they don't have any special abilities. Black women don't have a third eye, and they can't read a mother cuss word from across the room. Especially their own men. They're better at reading other men from across the room than they are at reading us. Girl, he looked like he... What did I tell you about when a sister says that a man looks like he does something negative? Now every black man looks like something wrong with her. Leave her. Understand she ain't even equal to other women because of the choice she made. I'm talking about the Western sister, not the black woman as a race. Thank you for listening. Black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual, non-select male power, just because you don't like it. Black patriarchy till extinction of judgment day. Thank you for flying with me on this part 3 of Jet Black Airways, where jet black's also a verb. Keep jetting black with me till the wings and the wheels fall off this mother cuss word. Gender justice forever.